So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do my Super Nintendo collection. This collection is really special to me because this Super Nintendo here is my original one. I purchased this with the first paycheck I ever made when I was like 13 years old. I worked at a tire place, and I got it and some games, and I was very, very happy. I had those games for a majority of the time, and then I added to that collection after joining YouTube, and I'm very, very happy with the games I've added. I've now completed it. So this is a Super Nintendo Mini for anyone who has not seen it. It is the original console that I owned. I play my games on this. As well, I have a Famicom 16 Go. This is a Super Nintendo clone system. If you've never seen this, there is a review for the FC16 Go on my channel. Check it out. It plays Super Nintendo games, and it has a really cool LCD screen. They just go in there. And I'll show you some of the accessories I have as well. I always recommend, if you have a retro console, to try and get the original cleaning kit, which I have, and it's in really, really good shape. And I have this Super Game Boy, which is a favorite of mine. It allows me to play all my original Game Boy games on the system, and some of them actually have increased features. So that makes that really cool. So now we'll move on to the games. Now the games are in no particular order. I'll show you the first one here. It is a Super Adventure Island. Really good game. There's no RPG elements in it. It's just a classic Adventure Island game. Really well presented. The second one here is Final Fantasy III. This is a game that I used to complete the collection. Haven't played it yet. It's Final Fantasy VI. I'm really excited about playing it. Kirby's Dream Course. Kirby mini golf game. Really, really good and incredibly underrated. I'll do a video on this sometime this year. Super Metroid, one of the best Metroid games in my opinion. Really, really great game. It's getting harder to find. Nintendo came out with Metroid Other M, which is a sequel to this game. Harvest Moon. This is my favorite Harvest Moon game. I'm also partial to the Nintendo 64 version, but if you can only have one Harvest Moon game, this is the one to have. It is the first and the definitive. They ported this to the Game Boy Advance. It is a bit expensive nowadays to find, so if you don't want to pay the price, you can get the Game Boy Advance version, but really, really awesome game. I put so many hours into this, it's ridiculous. Legend of the Mystical Ninja. This is another very underrated game. One of the best on the Super Nintendo for graphics. It's just absolutely beautiful and amazing. If you've never played it, pick it up. You can get it for $10 or $15 on eBay. It's a side-scrolling brawler, and it's really, really well done. It's a shame to see that Goemon didn't make it all this time, and that his games didn't get remade. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. This is some people's definitive Zelda game. It is not my favorite, but it is definitely in my top 3 Zelda game. Very, very awesome game. Sid Meier's Civilization. This is the original Civilization game. It's kind of strange to see this type of game on the Super Nintendo, but SimCity and Civilization, all those games actually play very well. I very much enjoy this game, and it is also very hard to find. Illusion of Gaia. I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and play this. This was sent to me by another YouTuber, Mother Wee, as a bonus game in a trade that we made, and I will play it. I have 2 games left to play in my Super Nintendo collection. It's this game and Final Fantasy III. Both really good RPGs from what I hear, so I'm excited to check it out. Every other game I have played. Here's another definitive RPG for the Super Nintendo, Secret of Mana. What was really unique about this is you can play 3 players at the same time. It's an action RPG, and it's absolutely beautiful. Along with Secret of Mana, we have Secret of Evermore. Another amazing RPG. It's one of the reasons I really love the Super Nintendo. The games for it are just absolute quality. And another RPG game that is just classic, and that is Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars. Square Enix paired with Nintendo. Now, I will be honest, the graphics do look a little bit funny, but if you look past it, the gameplay is amazing. This is technically the first in the Paper Mario series. Unfortunately, Square did not continue with Nintendo to make the series, but it is a very, very well done game. Yet another RPG, Earthbound, possibly one of the most talked about Super Nintendo games. Very, very good game. One of the reasons that it stands out is because it takes place in a modern day environment. There's really no fantasy involved except for the alien aspect. I won't give away the ending, but possibly one of the most beautiful stories in an RPG ever. Super Mario Kart. This is where the Mario Kart craze started. Absolute classic, although it hasn't aged well, so if this isn't something that's nostalgic for you, you're probably not going to enjoy it, but I still enjoy playing it to this day because I remember it from when I was a kid. Pilot Wings. This is one of the launch titles for the Super Nintendo. Amazing game at the time. It had a really unique concept where you go through these training classes to learn how to fly different machines, and you have to pass them. There's no battery in this game, so they used a password system, but really, really good game. I quite enjoy it. I think to this day it still plays well. They're coming out with Pilot Wings Resort for the 3DS, and I'm very interested to check that out. Super Mario World. Now this wasn't the pack-in that came with my Super Nintendo, but I had to have it. Every Super Nintendo collection does. It was one of the best Mario games ever made. Mine came with another game, and I'll show you that here in a minute, but very, very awesome Mario game. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. This is the packing game that actually came with my game. This was, I thought, a forgotten about game by Nintendo until they came out with the the sequel to it on the Nintendo DS. Beautiful graphics. It may look easy at first, but it's actually very hard at heart to collect all the items. So definitely check it out. Really, really awesome platforming play. Donkey Kong Country. This game was amazing for its time. It had beautiful graphics in 3D that we hadn't seen before, and the new Donkey Kong Country Returns is an awesome game for the Wii as well. Starfox. This is another title that maybe hasn't aged well, but if you have a lot of nostalgia for it, it's actually a lot of fun. You play through 3 different star systems, and the character scripts in this are good. They get even better in the N64 version, but definitely a classic to check out. They really push the Super Nintendo to its limits. And then the last game is one of the games that I got when I first got my Super Nintendo. I think I got this the same day. Super Adventure Island 2. I have to say, this is one of the most underrated games for the Super Nintendo. It doesn't get a lot of time or a lot of people talking about it, but it's actually an Adventure Island game with a lot of RPG elements, and it's very, very well done. If you ever see it around, pick it up. It's hard to find because it came out late in the system's life. It came out when the Super Nintendo Mini was out, and I think I bought my system in 96 or 97, so the PlayStation 1 was already out. But really, really, really awesome game. And that is my Super Nintendo collection, guys. Tell me what you think. Tell me if there's any definitive titles I'm missing. I might add a couple more to the collection at some point, but right now I'm very happy with it. I have every game that I want to have that's very nostalgic for me, and I still have 2 that I've never played, so it gives me some playability still on the system, and all of the other games have so much replayability on them. Thanks for watching, and tell me what some of your favorites are.